Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news. Today, the 23rd of January in the year 2024. Let's now take a look at the headlines. KANYAMA residents decry delays in CDF empowerment schemes. TEMBO sues UPND officials over alleged KAWAMBWA attack. Copper boom to 12% amid power wars thrills stakeholders. In international news this evening, HUGHES fire forces 50,000 to evacuate. And in sports, KANYEMBA aims to assemble winning squad for Tanzania clash. Join me for these and many more stories after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back and thank you so much for joining us on the Camnet News Desk. With the details, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Opposition Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP President TEMBO, has filed a lawsuit in the Lusaka High Court against ruling United Party for National Development, UPND Deputy Chairperson Trevor Mwinde and 3 others. The case arises from an alleged attack during the KAWAMBWA parliamentary by-election held in December 2024. According to court documents, Mr. TEMBO accuses Mwinde along with UPND Lusaka District Information and Publicity Secretary Matomolali Kwanya, Roy Makai, and Wapula Police Commissioner Mwala Yui of assault, battery, and negligence. Mr. TEMBO claims he was ambushed, harassed, and physically injured by UPND members while distributing food and drinks to polling agents and election monitors. The lawsuit details how the alleged attack began with a hostile confrontation in Lushiba Ward and escalated into a high-speed car chase on KAWAMBWA roads. Mr. TEMBO further alleges that the attackers threw stones, wielded weapons, and vandalized his vehicle, leaving one of his colleagues seriously injured. He claims that the Wapula Police Commissioner ignored his pleas for protection and even ordered his removal from the safety of the police station where the attackers reportedly continued their assault. The opposition leader is seeking compensatory and special damages as well as a permanent injunction to restrain the defendants from further acts of violence. He is also requesting a declaratory order against the police commissioner for breach of statutory duty. Meanwhile, opposition Tonse Alliance has expressed dismay over Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa's assertions that the opposition and some civil society organizations are plotting to tarnish Zambia's human rights record internationally. Alliance spokesperson TEMBO accused the UPND administration of violating human rights by allegedly targeting opposition members and individuals from northern and eastern Zambia with charges such as hate speech and sedition. Mr. TEMBO dismissed Mr. Mwetwa's claims that the UPND has already secured victory in the 2026 general elections, describing them as baseless and unsubstantiated.
For instance, Honorable Mwetwa claims that the opposition and some civil society activists have plotted to taint Zambia's human rights record in the eyes of the international community. As Tonse Alliance, we wish to categorically inform Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa, and through him, his UPND administration, that there is no need for the opposition to make any effort to taint Zambia's human rights record, because the UPND government is so far doing a good job of tainting Zambia's human rights record all by itself. When you have a situation whereby opposition leaders like Honorable Mumbipiri are incarcerated for years on false charges of murder, only for the state to withdraw the charges on the day of judgment, then the international community can see for itself that these are clear violations of human rights. When you have situations whereby opposition leaders are assaulted inside of a police station in full view of police officers, and all the assailants walk out of the police station scot-free, as it happened at KAWAMBWA Central Police, and no effort by the police is made to apprehend any of them, then the international community can see for itself that the Zambian government is engaged in clear violations of the human rights of its citizens. When you have a situation whereby crimes such as hate speech and seditious practices are only targeted at the opposition and or persons that come from the northern and eastern parts of Zambia, but are not applicable to persons that come from Zambezi provinces, then the international community can see for itself that the Zambian government is engaged in clear violations of human rights against a section of its citizens.
The Southern African Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, has endorsed the visit of United Nations Special Rapporteur Irene Khan, who is assessing the state of human rights and freedom of expression in Zambia. Arriving on January 20th, 2025 at the invitation of the government, the rapporteur's 10-day mission comes amid growing concerns about a perceived shrinking democratic space in the country. SACOD Acting Executive Director Arthur Muyunda emphasized the need for an independent and factual assessment, urging all stakeholders to support the mission. He called on political parties to avoid spreading propaganda and allow the rapporteur to conduct her evaluation without interference. The visit will include meetings with government officials, civil society organizations, and the media to review legal policies, governance frameworks, and the safety of journalists in Zambia. The findings from the mission are expected to offer critical insights into the country's democratic landscape and ensure accountability on human rights issues. Here's a report.
The state of freedom of expression and human rights in Zambia is a matter that has gained momentum in the past few weeks, with several accusations from the opposition political parties alleging that the democratic space in the country is shrinking. These allegations prompted government to invite a United Nations Special Rapporteur to come into the country to assess the state of freedom of expression and human rights. The UN envoy, Irene Khan, arrived in the country on Monday, 20th January 2025, and was welcomed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe.
Initiative that your government has taken to invite me to come here. And so I hope you will see this as a constructive contribution to your own approach to upholding human rights standards that you as the government have adopted.
We have a good number of stakeholders that you are going to meet, and I think for us that is important. It underscores the transparency of the exercise that you are undertaking. It underscores the level of cooperation that we as a government would want in the exercise of this particular function by you as a Special Rapporteur. I have looked at your program, and just to give an indication for the benefit of the people of Zambia out there and beyond, you will be, of course, visiting here the capital and the Copper Belt, as well as one of the other key centers that we have, our tourist capital.
The Southern African Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, has commended the government for inviting her, further urging opposition political parties and other stakeholders to refrain from disseminating propaganda and allow her to independently carry out her mandate.
We are so happy that we have the UN Human Rights Special Rapporteur who is in the country to look at the situation of human rights in the country. But we have also noticed the excitement that is coming from within the country about the visit by the Special Rapporteur. I think we think also that there is some also limited understanding of the work of the Special Rapporteur from different sectors of the citizens as well as politicians, because knowing the Zambian politics, they may actually try to take advantage and create a lot of propaganda around that visit. First and foremost, I think let me clarify that that is actually the work of the commission of the special rapporteurs and also different mandate holders.
Mr. Muyunda underscored the importance of the rapporteur's mission in shedding light on the allegations and ensuring that an independent and factual assessment of the state of human rights and freedom of expression is communicated.
After they meet all these stakeholders and then they do the press conference, they will issue a report on preliminary findings, which they will submit to government and also advise or maybe make recommendations to government on what they should do to try and work around those issues or those findings. So it is not something that is so unique. It happens to different countries. If you read the UN website, you find that she's also scheduled to visit some countries such as Germany, for example. So it is not only unique to Zambia, it is something that happens across the world, provided the member state is a signatory to, provided the country is a member state and there is maybe an invitation to the special rapporteur. They don't just make a move on their own. So we expect to hear the recommendations that will be made, and once they make those recommendations in June, they will present the findings at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva.
Ms. Irene Khan will be in the country for 10 days and is expected to convene meetings with government officials, civil society organizations and the media. Chanda Mwangu for Camnet News in Lusaka.
We now shift our attention to Lusaka's KANYAMA compound, where residents have voiced frustration over delays and alleged favoritism in the disbursement of Constituency Development Fund CDF empowerment schemes. They have accused local authorities of selective payments and unmet promises, appealing for urgent government intervention to address the issue. One of the residents, Agnes Piri, alleges that authorities are making payments to individuals while others remain unpaid. Edna Shonga alleged that some members were asked to pay fees during registration, which they did, but have not received the empowerment funds. Barbara Mlenga found in this report.
Some residents in Lusaka KANYAMA compound have condemned the delayed disbursement of empowerment funds under the Constituency Development Fund CDF. The residents allege that authorities in charge have been paying out money to selected individuals while leaving others indefinitely waiting. One of the residents, Agnes Piri, expressed disappointment at this act, stressing the inconvenience it has caused her.
Tidembesha vamilisi tsivinaoneke taviva mapini kuna mwanza atu amaenda kuenda kutenga so kulipe vonsevo ni makesezi ya muno mwakanyama kuti timatandaula kuti kuvota ativota but kuti atikile konzelu government kuti atiwone kuti ngawa bantu.
Edna Shonga, another resident, accused the authorities of stealing their money in the name of registration fees.
Tilinayo ndilama tinangene samo kulipe sina choke wanza tubatenga ifu kulipe.
Then
15 so pale under 15 mukapanga group zakampezani nkuku zosunga nkuku tunaoneka kuti nkuku nzidi but wanzatu wanafora magrupu zinatenga wanatengea ndamu nasakapo tungenesamu so chapi.
The residents have since appealed to government to urgently intervene in the matter. Government has implemented relief programs such as Cash for Work and CDF, but concerns of misappropriation of funds have arisen on several occasions, causing the public to raise concerns, as is the case in Kanyama. Barbara Mlinga for Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Zambia Chamber of Mines has held a 12% increase in copper production recorded in 2024 as a significant milestone, despite the inconsistent power supply that disrupted operations across various sectors, including mining. Chamber of Mines Chief Executive Officer Sokwani Chilembo described the growth as an impressive reflection of Zambia's potential, adding that under stable power conditions, the country could achieve even greater output. And economist Kelvin Chisanga echoed these sentiments, stating that the production surge positions Zambia on the track to achieve its ambitious target of 3 million metric tons of copper annually. He urged the government to implement robust policies to sustain the mining sector and maximize its economic benefits. The announcement by Mines Minister Paul Kabuswe highlighted expansions in large-scale mines such as Lumwana and Konkola copper mines as key contributors to the growth. Mines and Minerals Development Minister Paul Kabuswe yesterday announced the 12% increase, attributing it to expansions in large-scale mines such as Lumwana and Konkola copper mines. Details in this report.
Zambia's mining sector remains to be the backbone of the country's economy, contributing significantly to its GDP, export earnings and employment. Known for its abundant mineral resources, particularly copper, the country has established itself as one of the world's leading copper producers. Yesterday, at a media briefing, Mines Minister Paul Kabuswe revealed that the country recorded a 12% increase in copper production in 2024.
2024 production figures for the various mineral commodities. Ladies and gentlemen, the sector has continued to experience tremendous growth through investment driven mainly by expansion in large-scale mining. Zambia's endowment of mineral resources is substantial. However, production of metallic minerals continue to dominate the mining sector.
The Zambia Chamber of Mines, ZCM, has described the increase as an achievement, especially after the disruption of activities in the sector owing to power outages. Zambia Chamber of Mines CEO Sokwani Chilembo added that the double-digit recorded increase reflects the country's potential to record further increase, especially when power supply is stable.
In the case of large-scale miners, close to double-digit, and overall in terms of the industry, double-digit growth numbers is quite an achievement. And if we can achieve that pace under such difficult circumstances, I think it becomes clear that consistently doing above double-digit growth is something well within reach, as long as the investment environment and operating circumstances and policy stability are maintained.
Meanwhile, economist Kelvin Chisanga says the 12% increase amid unsustainable power supply shows the country's dedication to attaining the 3 million metric tons projected output. He adds that the government should now implement sustainable policies that will see the sector grow even further.
Seeing which recorded 12% last year, it's a clear indication that there is commitment around the sector development, and much of what we saw last year was the issue of trying to harmonize some of the teething issues that were standing quite of legacy in nature. But on top of the issue was the issue of KCM, Mopani and many others. These were augmenting very strong effect on the patterns of output production of copper. So now that we have actually harmonized all these aspects, and also we're looking forward to actually activate the good atmosphere around the mining sector. This testifies and demonstrates to say that even when it comes to the target that we have actually been able to align of reaching 3 million metric tons, will be able to be attainable, because we are basically seeing a very strong political will augmenting from that perspective.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has fined 6 energy companies for violating license conditions and failing to settle outstanding statutory fees. The penalties followed thorough audits and regulatory oversight aimed at ensuring compliance with Energy Regulation Act. ERB Acting Public Relations Manager Musonda Chivulu stressed the board's commitment to enforcing operational standards. Among the firms fined, Oryx Energies Limited was penalized 240,000 kwacha for operating without proper construction permits, while United Metro Energy faced a 75,000 kwacha fine for operating without a license.
The Energy Regulation Board has taken enforcement action against 6 companies for breaching license conditions and failing to pay outstanding statutory fees. These actions stem from thorough compliance audits and regulatory oversight designed to ensure adherence to the operational standards set out in the Energy Regulation Act. Now, Oryx Energies Limited was fined 240,000 kwacha for operating without the necessary construction permits, which was in violation of Section 22 of the Energy Regulation Act. This penalty covers 4 sites with a fine of 60,000 kwacha applied to each. Now, adherence to permitting processes is vital for ensuring safe and authorized operation. In addition, United Metro Energy was fined 75,000 kwacha for operating without a license in violation of Section 10(1) of the Energy Regulation Act. Operating without a license is a serious regulatory breach which jeopardizes both industry standards and public safety. Now, the ERB remains steadfast in its commitment to maintaining the highest standards of safety, operational efficiency, and regulatory compliance in the energy sector. These enforcement actions underscore the ERB's determination to ensure that all licensed entities comply with their license conditions and operate within the framework of the Energy Regulation Act.
2 peasant farmers aged 47 and 19 have been arrested for illegal cultivation of cannabis in Mushindamo District, Northwestern Province. The Drug Enforcement Commission DEC spokesperson Alan Tamba confirmed that Robert Wisamba and James Munongo were charged with unlawful cultivation of cannabis plants, which weighed a total of 523 kilograms. Mr. Tamba says the cannabis plants have been seized and the suspects are currently in lawful custody awaiting judicial proceedings.
Drug Enforcement Commission in Solwezi District in the Northwestern Province in the Republic of Zambia has jointly charged and arrested 2 notorious illicit drug cultivators in 15 miles area in Mushindamo District. The 2 suspects, identified as Robert Wisamba, male aged 47, a peasant farmer, and James Munongo, male aged 19, have been charged with the offense of unlawful cultivation of fresh cannabis plants weighing 523 kilograms. The charge is pursuant to Section 19 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act No. 35 of 2021 of the laws of the Republic of Zambia. The drugs have since been seized while the suspects have been detained in lawful custody awaiting judicial proceedings. We wish to thank alert members of the general public for sharing strategic information with the Commission. We further call on all citizens to partner with the Commission so that by acting together, we can prevent, detect, and combat organized crimes.
In health news this evening, the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, has announced a 68.4% availability rate of medicines and medical supplies as the country begins its 2025 distribution cycle. Senior Manager of Corporate Communications, Bradley Chingobe, stated that this ensures a reliable supply of essential medicines to over 3,500 public health facilities nationwide. Mr. Chingobe highlighted that key commodities are performing exceptionally well, with antiretroviral drugs ARVs at 88%, anti-malarial drugs at 100%, and anti-TB drugs also at 100%. He says healthcare facilities nationwide are operating at an average of 80% availability, reinforcing the strength and efficiency of the national supply chain.
We are currently sitting at a stock availability rate of 68.4%, and this is of our medicines and medical supplies at the central warehouse level. This availability ensures that we have a stable and continuous supply of essential medicines and medical supplies for all the 3,500 health facilities that ZAMSA services across the country. And of course, this reinforces our commitment in delivering quality health care to all the Zambians in the country. By doing this, we are ensuring the availability of medicines and medical supplies that are critical for the well-being and the health care of all citizens. And as ZAMSA, we are dedicated to making quality healthcare commodities accessible across the country. We are also pleased to announce to the country that we have recorded exceptional availability rates in some commodities such as antiretrovirals, where we are sitting at 88% availability, anti-malarial drugs, where we are sitting at 100%, and anti-TB tuberculosis drugs, where we are also sitting at 100% commodity level. These achievements demonstrate the effectiveness of the supply chain management system that we put in place, and also the collaborative system and efforts that we have with all our stakeholders.
The government of Zambia says it remains committed to improving the lives of vulnerable citizens through the decentralization policy. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Nkombo, has praised support from cooperating partners and stakeholders in advancing social and economic development. Speaking in Lusaka, Minister Gary Nkombo emphasized the government's dedication to ensuring equitable access to education, healthcare, and empowerment opportunities for vulnerable citizens. He said the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund, CDF, and other social protection programs are at the center of these efforts to uplift communities across the country. Meanwhile, the Canadian government has commended Zambia for setting a positive example in implementing the decentralization policy. Head of office at the Canadian High Commission, Ms. Corey Van Gaal, noted that Zambia's approach is inspiring other nations to empower their citizens in determining their development priorities. Ms. Van Gaal further applauded Zambia for upholding democratic values, describing the country as a shining example of democracy, which she said is not only a fundamental human right, but also a cornerstone for global peace.
Decentralization of services, which has been matched to fiscal decentralization of monies cascading down from the center to the people, and we have made it an all-involving activity now, where major decisions in the spirit of achieving decentralization are being made by the local people. We have established structures at sub-district level that kickstart the development requirements and needs or trajectories of the people, which are normally peculiar to a certain given jurisdiction, which was absent before. And what I mean is that all decisions were made in Lusaka here, in this ministry, that affect and involve people that are living probably 1,500 kilometers away from that. We are going to work with the decentralization work, with evolution of functions from the center to the...
From the table in our workshop, I certainly appreciate the passion, and they have spoken very much about yourself, Minister, and the support And I'm encouraged by the work that they're doing, and that we will work a little bit on financial sustainability coming up in the next few days, but they definitely are the right association to be advocating for Zambian municipalities. Something to be proud of. So good work to them all. And thank you again for hosting.
And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials. But do join us for sports and international news when we come back. Please do stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to a Camnet News Desk, and now in international news. Firefighters are fighting to maintain the upper hand on a huge and rapidly moving wildfire that swept through rugged mountains north of Los Angeles and resulted in more than 50,000 people being put under evacuation orders. The Hughes fire broke out last Wednesday morning and in less than a day had charred nearly 16 square miles of trees and brush near Lake Castaic, a popular recreation area about 40 miles from the devastating Eaton and Palisades fires that are burning for a third week. Here's around.
Firefighters fought to maintain the upper hand on a huge and rapidly moving wildfire that swept through rugged mountains north of Los Angeles and resulted in more than 50,000 people being put under evacuation orders or warnings. The Hughes fire broke out late Wednesday morning and in less than a day had charred nearly 16 square miles of trees near Lake Castaic, a popular recreation area about 40 miles from the devastating Eaton and Palisades fires that are burning for a third week. Though the region was under a red flag warning for critical fire risk, winds were not as fast as they had been when those fires broke out, allowing for firefighting aircraft to dump tens of thousands of gallons of fire retardant on the latest blaze. By Wednesday night, about 14% of the Hughes fire had been contained. Gabon's transitional government said presidential elections would be held on April the 12th, a key step to re-establish civilian rule after a coup ended the Bongo dynasty's decades-long reign. Government spokesman Séraphin Akure-Devin made the announcement early Thursday following a cabinet meeting. The oil-rich Central African country, which had been under the rule of the Bongo family for 55 years, adopted a new constitution in a November referendum. It provided for a maximum of 2 7-year presidential terms, no prime minister and no dynastic transfer of power. On Monday, a new law allowed military officials to stand in elections subject to certain conditions. Transitional President General Brice Oligui Nguema, who swiftly took over as leader after the August 2023 coup, has made no secret of his ambitions to remain in power.
The United States Congress has approved legislation requiring the detention of illegal immigrants who are accused of theft and violent crimes.
On this vote, the yeas are 263 and the nays are 156. The bill passed. And without objection, the motion to reconsider laid on the table.
A significant number of opposition Democrat lawmakers voted in favor of the bill, which will now be sent to new President Donald Trump for signing into law. It's expected to be his administration's first step to tighten border security and further slow the flow of migrants into the country.
And finally, in sports news this evening, Copper Princesses coach Carol KANYEMBA has assured fans that she will assemble a formidable under-17 women's national team to take on Tanzania in the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers this March. The qualifiers are set to kick off in March with Zambia facing Tanzania in a crucial two-legged second round tie. The first leg is scheduled for the first week of March, with the second leg following the second week, and the winner of the two legs will face either Uganda or Cameroon in the third round. Tanzania progressed to this stage after a triumphant win over Eswatini in the first round. KANYEMBA's selection is a blend of experienced players and newcomers, which includes several standout players from the team that triumphed at the 2024 COSAFA Under-17 Girls Championship. Defender Gift Chisha and goalkeeper Vukata Kakumbi have emphasized the tight competition within the training camp and as the team diligently prepares for the match encounter against Tanzania.
We've got 37 players in camp from across the country, and our aim for this camp, which is 1 week, is to assess players and be able to pick a cream that will be combined with the team that we went with to COSAFA to come up with a formidable team that will be able to play against Tanzania in March. So far so good, but we're still pushing because we know there are certain players who don't show up in the first two the early days of camp, that we are hoping that they can come around and bring something very good and a lot of competition to the team that was in South Africa.
Competition here very cool. We are about 37 and per number, penangwepo 7, penangwepo 3, so competition we are trying our best, and this is my second time. Penabwera last time nina order mwe vinari living, so ino second time nina bwera funuko pushing samaningi kairi wina wena angu foot, so funuko pushing samaningi nane nispeze ma World Cup qualifiers touchdown sako bambili then I will progress because pressure wandu competition niko maningi and fitness levels na abantu beti there now, like for example Green Buffaloes, Zesco, Red Arrows, ingati mwentera ko munga Super League ingati pepo kideko kutiana munga mwetera na ba Tanzania, because this will be my first time kutiana Tanzania.
So far so good too. Abantu bazina bemibili trodera for myself. Competition nilifa kodin but ofole for wombesha because kulina barabamba bashira so ofole posesha kosana mana na efforts targets niko babo pali badia na barabe na bashire kuna mfowino sana because nishati hapo, so chaba it could be a plus kulini ama games in there muna february so must to bomesha feno trainer bueno tukakwanisha kubase pabonzi.
We can only wish the Copper Princesses all the best as they face Tanzania. And that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of the Camnet main news. But before we go, a recap of stories that made headlines. KANYAMA residents decry delays in CDF empowerment schemes. TEMBO sues UPND officials over alleged KAWAMBWA attack. Copper boom to 12% amid power wars thrills stakeholders. In international news, HUGHES fire forces 50,000 to evacuate. And in sports news, KANYEMBA aims to assemble winning squad for Tanzania clash. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Philippians, chapter 4 and verse 13. It reads, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. That ends the reading, and that ends the main news bulletin on Camnet TV. But dear viewer, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now, on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us